Listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. I better wish my wife a happy 40th birthday. Love you, honey. And it's a tragedy what happened to NC State. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. First of all, I'm shocked that you're still standing after what I'm sure was a debauchery-filled weekend. And second of all, I guess we're going to have to wait 3 years for a real NCAA champion to emerge in baseball. What a damn shame. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
I don't like that language.
Well, I don't like your cooking.
Well, I don't like having to literally empty the farts out of your pockets whenever I do your laundry.
You're the one who's always cooking Brussels sprouts and broccoli. It's like an Irish bar fight down there.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Whoops. Man, I tried to jump to the end too quick. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee and Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm still surviving. I'm here.
Well, batting practice, we will talk NC State. What I was saying there in the sports break is the next few days, mainly considering the fact that you were the biggest college baseball fan that was watching this outside of Matt, who won't be here this week because we're off on Friday. I'm not going to sit here and cover something that I think is blatant fraud. And I'll give the ground to you, but I think NC State, and I'm not saying NC State definitely would have won it, but they couldn't have waited a few days. I mean, this is horse crap. What say you?
Yeah, definitely. There's, these great minds supposedly with higher education couldn't come up with any scenario other than just to quit and award a walkthrough. Essentially, you played a handicap game on Friday with 9 position players and 4 pitchers, and they still only had a 3-1 defeat. Not to mention your first baseman was the pitcher that defeated you and put you in the loser's bracket 1-0, and he had 3 hits in the game. So kudos to that kid. And I apologize for not being prepared and having his name. Didn't know how much we would dive into this or what the temperature of the room would be with the World Series, because it was a tragedy. It broke my heart as a fan. Just had to tune out this weekend. I don't want to take anything away from Mississippi State and the other bracket, but I hate it. And this is a Vanderbilt team that any other year, had they been rolling through teams, yeah, maybe, okay, it's foregone conclusion. You can see it, but this is not the elite Vanderbilt teams we've seen of the past.
Not at all.
Full strength NC State probably beats them again at least once out of them 2 games.
And as good as Rocker and Leiter are, they've gotten touched before this year. It's not like these guys are like I think back at some of the years with like women's softball where there's like one girl comes around every 3 or 4 years, we're like, nobody can hit her, and you're like, you're screwed when she pitches. That's not what I feel when because Vanderbilt's bullpen is very vulnerable, and the whole thing's crap. And I'm not going to pull for one or the other because I think the whole thing is just crap, and it was a crappy decision by the NCAA. I'm just not going to watch it. But like I said, I'm not trashing Vanderbilt and their fans or Mississippi State and their fans. This is the NCAA totally crapping the bed again, Justin. I mean, it's pathetic, and it's nauseating at this point, right? You're just like, why in the hell can't you get out of your own way? There was no rush to play that game on Friday too, right? There's no reason why, especially as packed full of sports weekends we had, they could have played these games early this week.
You just made the comment packed full. The stands were packed full with no testing or anything walking in. If it was about public safety and the players, wouldn't you have?
Right.
Couldn't you have sealed it off and had them play by themselves? I mean, it's an isolation sport. If somebody tested positive and they're symptomatic, have them wear a mask they're on the base path.
If this is freaking last year, I get it, right? We didn't know a whole lot about it. We're a year later. Most people are vaccinated. And for them to just it's asinine. Now it's just the whole thing is asinine, and for them to hurt these kids, people don't realize some of these kids are never going to play in the major leagues. Most of them may not even play minor league baseball, although minor league baseball is much bigger than any other of our major sports in America because you've got so many divisions. Still, very few go and play minors. This was like their last chance for some of the seniors, et cetera, et cetera. Not to mention, even if you're a freshman, junior, sophomore, there's nothing guaranteeing you're going back next year, right? So it's total BS, and I hate it for the NC State program in general. I know that you used to live in that area, so I'm sure this touched you a little more than it did me. But it's bull crap. It's absolute bull crap, and it feels like there's an agenda being pushed. It's like, dude, COVID's over. Either get the vaccination or don't. But to continue to shut down sports over this, I just think is just flat out asinine. Because I didn't even see any kind of thing. I don't know about you, but and of course they won't release it because most of them are kids. But whether or not how many of these kids actually, I bet you some of these kids, a lot of these kids that they're preventing are vaccinated, right? So why the hell? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I don't know. And I know just because of the local markets and the stations that I've heard various staff members from Vanderbilt, they talk about how they're a medical college. They talk about and brag how they're vaccinated. So again, we know it's not a risk with Vanderbilt. We don't know who has and who hasn't on Carolina, but if you factor that in and they take their personal responsibility, you've got to quit making decisions for everybody else. They assume that risk if they play it. We know a lot more information about this.
It's also, to me, the fact that if those kids were vaccinated, and one thing that I read was implying that some of them were that were banned for the Friday game. If you've been vaccinated, you should go past any kind of stupid protocols. This reminds me of the stupid crap that the NBA was doing a couple of weeks ago.
With Chris Paul?
What's that?
Are you talking about Chris Paul's positive being vaccinated?
Chris Paul with the vaccination, and he's being quarantined because he's testing positive. Well, of course you're testing positive because one of the things that the vaccination does is it gives you the virus, but it gives it to you in a safe way, yada, yada, yada. He missed 10 days. Now his team has advanced and they're up 3-1 and they haven't lost any of these like critical games that he missed. That's not the point. Point is they could have. And what was it? It's like, what year is the NCAA and NBA living in? Because it's not 2021. 2020 should flat out be, if you've got the damn vaccination, there's no reason why you should even be tested, et cetera, until I know they're talking about you possibly could get a booster shot in a year. Okay, in a year, we'll revisit that. But if you get this vaccination, what was the point of the vaccination if you still have to live in, under a rock, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm dumbfounded by it. And, man, it's just a sad day for the College World Series. I'm really disappointed in it.
We've got a lot more to get into, so before I pull what's left of my hair out, we'll go ahead and move on. By the way, Justin, we were going to do a couple of ACC football teams today and tomorrow. Now we're just going to cram it into tomorrow because there's just so much going on coming off the weekend. I'll hit you up with that after the show via text. I didn't want to. I also was like, man, I'm not throwing this on him late. Like by the time I started looking at this week's, I was like, it was after the Travelers Championship. I was like, I'm not hitting him with this, 10 hours before we do the show or whatever. All right, let's go ahead and get into the first quarter. All right. On positive news, on fun news, the Stanley Cup playoffs start today. And I don't know about you, but I'm jacked. I'm excited. It would have been more fun if it would have been New York versus Montreal, just because there's a real rivalry in those two regions. But Montreal versus Tampa Bay, maybe we get to see the beginning of what the Rays home will look like. As we could get the Rays going half Tampa, half Montreal down the road. So I'm expecting a jam-packed crowd in in Tampa Bay tonight. And I would hope that they would open up some of these restrictions for the Canadian crowd where they can get a full capacity crowd. They haven't so far. the Canadian games, you got the tarps behind it, but you have some fans where you can't see, which by the way, why don't they flip flop that, Justin, where we can see some fans, see some excitement, and put the tarps on the other side? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think we'd have to create a whole nother show for me to break down the Canadian differences. That's a loaded question.
Canada. Our upscored neighbor nerds. But look, I'm excited about the it's starting tonight. I'm glad they finally got it going a little before the NBA finals begins. I don't believe the NBA finals will begin till next week, which they'll be in like game 4, maybe even 5. Hell, if it's a sweep, the series could be over. So that's a plus this year over other years. They're only be going up against the Clippers Suns tonight, which is 3-1, and it's a late start. So the NHL has themselves center stage tonight.
And they get to tail into Major League Baseball All-Star weekend with this series and scoop up a lot of viewers that I anticipate will probably be tuning out of that. I know at least one geographic will be tuning out.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to it won't last that long because we're still 2 weeks away from the All-Star break. So the Stanley Cup will not be.
I'm a week off. I thought that was into fourth weekend.
Yeah, they try to do it the weekend after, so for obvious like travel and all that junk. So yeah, I am with you. I do believe that when you hit the MLB All-Star break, people are going to be tuning into stuff they haven't tuned into before, because for one, I just can't bring myself to watch it. That's a different story. We'll do more of that as it gets closer. But the NHL Stanley Cup starting tonight, Tampa versus Montreal. I've got to give a heavy favorite to Tampa, not just the fact that they're the defending champions, but I think they've got the better roster. But it does seem like this Montreal team is I'm not going to say a team of destiny, but they feel like that they're a pretty good team that's gotten extremely hot.
It's a good Cinderella story. I mean, they were down 3-1 in their series with the Maple Leafs, come back and win it. They sweep the Winnipeg Jets in 4 games, and then they battle out with the Vegas Golden Knights to carry them on. So, I mean, they have had a pretty good uphill battle. Nobody anticipated this. Nobody saw it. Heavy underdogs, I would think, based on opening night. Definitely Vegas agrees with that. I think it's plus 165 on the money line right before we got on the show. So they're not getting a lot of love there. I know we'll do it at the end of the show, so I won't allude to my pick. I'm still going to go with that game, but I'm going to go in a different manner. So it'll be an interesting series. I'm looking forward to it. It's been, I believe, 28 years. You said it in the intro. 1993 was their last championship, and they beat the Kings. So it's been a long time. A lot of their fan base, younger fan base, has never seen them.
How wild!
Or hoist a championship. Never seen their country in one. So I think it's good for the sport.
Yeah,
I just want a good long series.
How wild is that? The Canadian fans, that there are a good chunk of them that have never seen a championship. And for people who don't follow hockey, this is the equivalent of a New York Yankee fan being 28 years old and never seeing a title. They've got 24 championships. And granted, a lot of them came when there was only 6, and we get all that, but still, they've got 24 championships. And that is something to be said. I think the Yankees are sitting at 27 now. I feel like that the last time they won one, which by the way has been, what was that, 09? So it's not like the Yankees are a foregone conclusion anymore. Programming note, by the way, Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays will be at the top of the 10 Eastern hour with Angelo and Timus. Also want to throw another programming note at everyone for people who are getting geared up for football season. We're going to do the college football kickoff show the same time we're doing this show, 8:30 to 9:30, because I got to think about I'm not going to confuse people with start times. I'm just not going to do it by a half hour. So we're just going to go 8:30, 9:30. And then we've also got some exciting news. The Sunday show is now going to be a 2-hour kickoff show. The first part's going to be, we're talking real footballs per se, gambling and real football, and then the second hour is going to be more fantasy. So we'll obviously update everyone as we get closer, but those have been added for sure. And then we are looking to add. I'm thinking we might have to do some kind of a Tennessee Titan podcast or something. All right. Do you think that so your pick today is the is what on the pick 'em? Let's go ahead and hit that before I forget.
I'm going to take the over 5. I feel an onslaught by Tampa. The energy in their room
It's gonna be a
is going to be high
snowman?
scoring. I don't know if I'll go that. Hey, it's going to be crooked. I know that. I think we get up to a 5-6 goal game by one party. I think one team easily covers the over.
That'll be exciting if we get a high scoring game. You know, 2 really good goalies, but that should be I'm with you as far as the fact that I do believe that look, I the way that the NHL has finagled some rules to allow the Lightning to be able to keep some players that like in other sports you can't do. It'll be interesting, by the way, if that gets adjusted down the line. But Tampa's a really good team.
Oh, yeah.
And what I'm more interested than anything else is, are they as good as we think they are? And will the Habs be able to hang, or are the Habs a lot better than people realize? Because it was so hard to get a litmus on this because of the fact that they played in Canada the entire year. They play anybody else. They came down. They were after, by the way, they were down in the Toronto series. What was it? 2-0?
No, 3-1.
Okay. Okay. 3-1. I knew.
I don't know. I don't remember how the sequence of how they got to 3-1. They may have been down 2-0, but that 3-1 was their pivotal. They had to win 3 straight just to move on.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking at they were down 2-0, and then they were once again down 3-1. So down 3-1, those elimination games, then they just smoked the Jets, right? Yeah. And then when the Vegas series started, it looked like Vegas was going to take care of them pretty easily. That was not the case. Vegas won the first game, and we're like, here we go. We're finally finding out what this Canadian hockey is, and then they've been on a tear ever since. Basically, their goalie's been standing on his head right now, and so I'll be interested to see if he can absorb the onslaught, because I do believe Vegas was good, but I don't know if they were as good as a lot of people had them in mind. The other thing, let me go ahead and hit my pick real quick before I forget that. I'm going to go Major League Baseball. Shocker there. Basically because I don't trust the NBA, and I'm not going to do the same pick that you did. So that would be stupid. So I'm going to go with the, I don't like going over -150 normally, so I'll stick away from I do like the Bauer at home, even though he's facing the Giants, but I'm going to go with the White Sox -140 on the money line at home. Giolito's on the mound going up against Kenta Maeda. Hopefully the White Sox can pull out the W for me. An interesting one that if he hadn't pitched so damn well the last time out, I'd be taking Peralta at home against the Brewers, and Cubs begin their series today. Peralta's at home against Hendricks, but Hendricks has pitched pretty well the last several times out. Okay. So how many are you taking the Lightning to win the series?
I'm going to go with the Canadians. I mean, that's just my gut who I would like to pick. I would love to see Shea Weber hoist the cup. I want the man to get one before he retires. He's my all-time favorite Predator. I'm infatuated with Shea Weber, and I want him to win a cup. And I'll just say that. So I can't be unbiased in this one. But I think they've got a tall order ahead of them. I think gut, though, if I just take personal feelings, it's probably Tampa in 6, but I hope I'm wrong, and Montreal can find a way to win this thing. They're going to have to survive the onslaught of game 1. I think it'll be similar to what you saw in the Vegas series. And then once they get to see the on-ice speed and different dimensions of the Lightning's roster, they will be able to make in-game adjustments and carry that throughout the rest of the series. But game 1, I think Tampa Bay overpowers them, and the speed kills. And if they play shorthanded, there's no way that power play, their special teams will destroy you. So you've got to play Tampa 5-on-5. You've got to stay out of the box.
I'm going to take Tampa to win it, but I do think this is going to be a really good series. I could definitely see this thing going 7. I hope for the NHL's sake that it does, because there's nothing better than Stanley Cup playoffs, and there's nothing better than when it gets to a game 7. So I hope for hockey's sake that's what happens.
And I don't want to take anything away from the Lightning just because, the feat that they're going against. We mentioned the Canadians trying to snap that 28-year streak, but they're trying to be the 3rd team in NHL history to be a back-to-back Cup champion. That's unheard of. Not a lot of organizations have done that in the NHL, gone back-to-back. So will there be an asterisk was last year's bubble and this year's limited division play? I don't know, but it's still an amazing accomplishment in what they've done in the uncertain and unknown times of last.
I think it helps erase it though, doesn't it? Because like with the Lakers, there's always going to be a hell of an asterisk on that last championship because they got bounced. Was it first round of the playoffs the following year? Essentially the same roster. The fact that the Lightning are back, to me, gives a little more validity, right? And so if they do win, I don't think you can necessarily put the asterisks on there. That's just my 2 cents on it.
I agree. I mean, but I think this is the hardest postseason tournament to win. I know you think the World Series is. We disagree on that matter, but I think back-to-back in hockey is just a phenomenal feat. No matter how you got there, they got there. Aside from a NCAA stepping in and just eliminating a team and moving you on, pat on the back to Tampa Bay Lightning.
Before you go, did you get a chance to watch that Travelers Championship at the end?
I did not.
I was absolutely glued, and I could not believe I was glued to a non-major. This thing went 8 playoff holes, which they said that there was only one tournament that's ever gone longer. And it was insane because they knew that they were fighting against the Mother Nature because the sun was going down. So normally you don't get in golf carts. You have to walk the course, right? They had these guys in golf carts and hauling ass across the grid because they're like, man, we're going to run out of daylight if we don't hurry up and do this. I don't even know that picture that I've got up. I don't even know how there's that much sunlight at the end, because I'm telling you right now, it was getting dark, and it was getting dark quick. It was insane. It was a great, I was pulling for the guy that didn't win because he evidently was Jordan Spieth's caddy at one point. So I thought that was kind of cool. Plus, I don't know what it is about Harris English, but I've never liked him. He always looks like he got a stick up his butt, and his name to me, I mean, how has this guy not been cancel culture? He just sounds like privilege, doesn't he? Harris English on the first dates.
Well, that explains a late night text from a relative that I really didn't understand, but now I know. And since she's listening, she'll know who she is, so I'll blast her this morning, and that'll be my walk-off so she can't call in and retaliate. Golf is the most boring sport to me, and CBS needs to stop showing so I can watch 60 Minutes. I read that text, and I was like, okay, that's a drunk dial. And moved on. So had I known that, I probably would have been dialed in. But
what was funny is I made the similar comment to my wife, although I mean, I was glued to it. I said, I wonder how many people are pissed off right now because they tuned in to watch old 60 Minutes, spin their nonsense right about now. And she's like, why are they still playing? I said, because this is a play, because we were watching a movie or something on the other TV. And why I can't tell you what the hell we're watching because I've got glued to this. I was just watching these guys. I was like, it's still tied. What was confusing me because they didn't have the volume on. They kept showing replays of things they had done earlier in the tournament. So I was seeing these replays and I thought it was ending the tournament. I was like, holy crap, he just hit that shot. And what they were doing is they were going back and saying, this is what they did earlier in the tournament at this hole. I'm like, would you quit that? Because I didn't watch all 72 holes of this thing. I watched a decent amount of it Saturday, and I watched like the last 4 holes of it on Sunday. All right, brother. Well, I know you got to get going. That was your walk-off, right?
Well, I mean, I'll throw another one. Wolfpack Nation, love you. Keep your head high. You'll go back-to-back next year. This one's legit. UCF's might not have been, but, go Go ahead and claim it.
I love the fact that they even put the that they did the celebration. I think it was in Raleigh the next night. It was either that or they did it in Carolina or they did it in Omaha with no one else around. But the fact that they did the celebration with the players on the field, I love the fact that they did that.
Order the rings, baby. Order the rings.
All right, so we got to go because Doug and his busted ass phone is here. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
It looks like he's in the Bay Area in the fog or something.
I know, man. Come on, dude. Get something on this phone. It's ridiculous. We'll be back
See you, Jimmy.
here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. You're listening to CBS Sports Radio and watch us on YouTube Live. Keep it locked in. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Hi, friend. It's your home speaking, and I need some favors. Could you turn on some of the lights in the basement? I'm scared of the dark. Also, this one is easy. Could you bundle your home and car insurance with Geico so we could save money? Last thing, just a suggestion. Could you steam clean the carpets? I need a spa day.
Geico. For bundling made easy, go to geico.com today.
Welcome to the jungle. Jim Rome on the air, noon to 3 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, everybody. It's Harry Carey for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Get yourself a cold Budweiser every Saturday morning and join in the fun and watch the neighborhood play. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. They talk about my Cubbies. It's Joey Ariola, Christian Pledge. He's a White Sox fan, but we'll give him a pass. Hey, why do they call it White Sox? Their jerseys always look very dirty to me. Sounds like something that could be cancel culture to me. Let's look into that, Cubbies fans. It's the neighborhood play, only on the YouTube channel, Armchair Quarterback Show. Harry Carey signing off, seeing double, because I'm ordering triples. Go Cubbies and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Score was tied, the bases full, the crowd began to cheer.
Payoff pitch, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, here on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel. We go live talking fantasy baseball, DFS, all through the world of analytics. Sean O'Toole, Stephen Troche. It's the payoff pitch every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, talking fantasy baseball.
If you can make a hit in a ball game.
Oh, man. But now the responsibility when you have these people, sometimes late at night, my wife is asleep and the kids are asleep and the animals are just dreaming peacefully without a care in the world. And I'm standing naked alone in the hallway, wrapped with fear, because I know their lives depend on me. And I can't tell anyone about it. I can't complain. I just have to swallow the stress and slowly lose my hair. I can't wake my daughter.
Good morning. Welcome to CBS Sports Radio. YouTube Live here on the Armchair Quarterback Show and Red Raider Doug. Busted Phone Doug here on Doug, how the hell are you this morning, sir? We got you muted. All right, Doug. I always have to mute you, man, because I never know when that smoker's cough is going to come kicking in.
Finally, I can get that out of my head.
How are you, sir?
Good. Besides my busted phone, great.
Your busted ass fantasy team.
One and the same.
So how are you doing in fantasy baseball? Is your team, or are you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there. I mean, in our dynasty league, I picked up a win, but the other ones,
dude, I'm sorry, man. I tried to give you a solid.
I know.
That backfired. That guy sucks. I was the first time I watched him pitch in a while, and I was like, what in the hell, man? He's out there just giving up gopher balls. I see now why he was available out there on the wire.
Yeah, I did too. It's all right. It was, look, in that league, Sean had me down by almost 200 points at one time. The fact I only lost by about 40. means the team's up. Yeah, it just but
the fact that you lost by 40 still makes you a loser.
I know.
I got all W's. I can't get over third place in that stupid rotisserie league, dude. This thing drives me nuts because no matter what I do, I feel like I'm locked into where I'm locked into. Because no matter how good and how bad of a week I have, I wake up Monday morning to check it, and I'm like, I'm still in third place. Like it sucks. And I just don't. I keep trying to make some moves to help because my biggest thing is my batting is average, but it started off really bad. And so because of that, I'm stuck like at the bottom in a lot of categories. And even though they've started to pick up the pace, I don't think they can. I think it's insurmountable at this point. So that one's just kind of like, whatever, dude. Trying to build that team for next year, just basically looking at what kind of batters do I need? This is the most confusing thing ever. DFS. Let's go to DFS. That's something that you can control. What are you liking today in DFS?
Pitching wise, I'm liking Trevor Bauer and take Lucas Galito as well. Those are my two pitching picks.
Galito, or should we grab a Lucas Giolito?
Lucas Giolito, then.
Galito. I swear. I miss the way old Forbes used to mispronounce every player on the planet. I'll take Garrett Rickards. Who? I'll be looking up at Garrett Richards. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
God, what the hell? So you're banking on? I get 7,500. Giolito is sitting at what today? He is sitting at, I was looking at the wrong, 10,300. And what was the other pitcher?
Taking Trevor Bauer today.
Okay, how are you going to build a lineup with 10,900 and 10,300? It's going to leave you with nothing. If I do that right now, the rest of my lineup has to average 3,600 a pop.
I didn't say you had to take both of them. You can take one and take a lesser.
Well, this is how you got to build a team. That's like saying I'm going to take Derrick Henry and I'm also going to take there's really no one better than Derrick Henry, so I guess that's all you need. But I'm going to take Derrick Henry. I'm going to take Tyreek Hill. You got to be realistic with these. Can't take I'm going to take the two best players. Well, of course you got to pick one. All right, I'll do people a solid. Freddie Peralta at home against Chicago, I think he'll go off. And if you're looking for someone who's a little cheaper, save you money, and you can still get, some value in pitching, Maeda 7,500 should be because it doesn't look like Abreu will play today. He got banged up, and I just know how they are. They most likely won't play him today. If you're looking for another good one, good deep dive one, Matt Manning's 5,900 playing Cleveland. That should be a decent gives you flexibility so that, unlike Doug's team, if you get 3,600 average, your best outfielder that you can afford is like Kike Hernandez.
I didn't say the people have to
look at these things before we go on, or you just go, I'll just grab the two guys off the top.
Oh my God! I said those were two great choices. I didn't say everybody had to pick both of them. You can pick one and come with Peralta or Manning.
The only thing worse than these fantasy takes is that stupid phone.
I'm going home.
Aren't you home?
I'm going somewhere else then.
I'll tell you one that's interesting to me that I'm a little gun shy because of who he's playing. You know what? No, I'm not even gonna, I was gonna say Danny Duffy, but I'm not, those Red Sox are way too hot coming off of. Danny Duffy's a good pitcher, but 8,800 might be a little too rich for my blood going up against that Boston offense. All right. if you want to throw one up against the wall and say, I think I got a chance at this, Maeda, I talked about that a second ago. The other guy that I would say has a decent chance because the offense is so bad and he's been pitching really well. Hendricks is only 9,100, but if I'm going to go 9,100, I'm probably going to go 9,800 with Greinke. I'm probably, because I know Greinke's going to get me more strikeouts. I'm not trying to start Descalfalfini or how the hell he pronounces his name. And he's a decent pitcher, but he's at the Dodgers. I'm steering clear of that. No. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to fantasy football because fantasy football is upon us for all intents and purposes. And we're doing the tight ends position today. And is it still the foregone conclusion to you that Kelsey's absolutely the number one tight end?
Yeah, I don't see nobody's knocked him off the top spot yet.
Because I feel like your boy, if there's someone who could honestly make an honest argument for this, I feel like Darren Waller, man. He's intriguing.
Yes.
We know what the Kittle talent is. What worries me about Kittle is who's going to be under center. And if they end up making a quarterback change mid-season, is he going to be someone that they'll continue to rely on? You would think he would be. But here's the thing that I see. If you don't get one of those top 3 tight ends, it is an absolute crapshoot after that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, if you don't pick one of the top 3, you're going to be scrambling all season. You're going to be switching guys out. Who's got the hot hand this week? You'll be playing matchups. Every week looking for somebody.
And so I specifically went to the DraftKings website for their tight end rankings. I'm always curious to see how different sites do this. Of course, DraftKings tends to be very, very fluid, right? Their number 7 tight end is Noah Fant. Their number 6 is Dallas Goedert. Their number 5 is TJ Hawkinson. And then number 4 is Mark Andrews. But number 8 is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I think if I'm drafting any of these guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw and take a shot at Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
A guy that I think is being highly undervalued. What about Logan Thomas of Washington? Because he had a really good season last year. It kind of came out of nowhere. And then the other elephant in the room is, are you willing to take any kind of risk on one of the 35 tight ends that the New England Patriots have?
I'm not even considering that. I'll take a better chance on Dallas Goedert in Philadelphia first before I even consider looking at what the Patriots have.
I mean, I just feel like you got Hunter Henry, you got Jonnu Smith, but you got a crappy quarterback until Mac Jones takes over, whenever they decide to give him the reins. So Hunter Henry is the one that's ranked the highest. But I think Jonnu Smith's the most talented.
Yeah.
If you're going to draft a tight end from New England, who would you lean with? Are you going to go with the guy who's got the more upside, like Jonnu Smith, because of his speed and whatnot? Or are you thinking Henry because they're going to focus for him down there at the goal line?
I'm going to have to go with Henry, the most experience and the goal line situations. And, it's fantasy sports, so you got to instinctively go where the points are going to be. And I think the points are going to be with Henry.
That is going to be such a mess to try to figure out, because just like I was saying with Kittle, you don't know what the quarterback situation's actually going to be, no matter whatever the hell they try to tell you right now. I just don't think that the fantasy I'm looking at the fantasy calculator, because there's all kinds of which you can go to. So it really comes down to whoever you like. Now Pitts there is ranked number 5, and to me that's more realistic because I feel like that what the hell is this? I'm over here on this website. This big blurb comes up trying to get me to put in their stupid my email address thing, so I can wake up to just another damn email every morning, right?
Yeah.
But guys that are interesting to me, and all right, see how deep we'll go on this. There's so many different avenues that you can take for tight end. So we talked about how electric Waller and Kittle and Kelsey are, and I really think you can't go wrong no matter who you pick first. I think Kelsey still is the number 1 tight end, but I don't think Kittle and Waller are that far behind. Mark Andrews, you know one thing about him, he's going to get end zone. That's who Lamar Jackson likes to look for, the end zone. Kyle Pitts, you love the upside. He's also a rookie. He might stink. Yeah. He might absolutely stink. He might get up there and not be able to get off the line, and it takes him half the year to figure. So you draft a tight end if you draft the number 5 tight end as a rookie, that is taking a huge. Remember when TJ Hawkinson was a rookie a couple years ago, and he had the one big game. I think it was week 2. I want to say it was the Chargers, but regardless, and then to do crap the rest of the year. And then towards the end, he kind of showed. It wasn't until the following year that TJ Hawkinson really took off. That's a big gamble to take Kyle Pitts, but I think a lot of people are going to do that, especially in the leagues that we're in, because he played in the Southeastern Conference, so they're familiar with him, and he was a high draft pick. So like you get all these stars in your eyes about how talented, how good he was at University of Florida. But he's not coming off the line against Vanderbilt every Sunday, okay? So you got to take that into consideration. Rob Gronkowski is number 8 on Fantasy Football Calculator. There's no way in hell I'm drafting him as the 8th tight end.
No.
They save him for the playoffs. He's not going to have like this illustrious year where he's going to have a just ridiculous amount of yards. He might get 8 touchdowns, but that's not going to get you through if he's averaging 20 yards a game, right? All right. After that, this is where it gets interesting because this is where the arguments come. Rank these guys, and I'm not going to give you them in order because I want you to put them in the order that you would. So I'm gonna give them to you in the wrong order. You give me the right order. I'm gonna give you 3 names: Logan Thomas, Johnny Smith, and Evan Ingram.
Logan Thomas, I'd have him at number 8. Johnny Smith, maybe 12. And what was the last name again?
Evan Ingram.
Oh, Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram.
That's the guy that's never good, that everyone tells you is going to be good.
I'll put him at 25.
I swear. I had an argument via social media a couple weeks ago over Evan Ingram and who was the other guy? It was Joe Mixon. And then there was a third one. There was a receiver that, and anyways, we went round and round and round on. And this guy is like some fantasy football guru, so he says. And he was hyping Ingram, he was hyping Mixon, and he was hyping Calvin Ridley. And he had Calvin Ridley in his top 5 for this year. And we went round and round. I was like, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. You can't put Calvin Ridley up that high. I'm not saying he doesn't even have the ability to get that high, but you can't put him that high starting in your draft picks because there's other guys that you know are more sound, because Calvin Ridley's never been a number 1 receiver. We don't know if he can beat the double team. He does not have Julio Jones to take that pressure off of him.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, there's always something. Reason why Joe Mixon sucks. It's either the Bengals are behind and they can't use him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he gets injured, he'll have 1 or 2 games where you'll have the dope say, "See, I told you he was good." Like, dude, we're in week 6, and that was the first game that I said I would have started him. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I was
Ingram, man, Evan Ingram. I fell in love with this guy like a couple of years ago. I was like, man, they're really going to use him, and he has stunk. He has stunk. You cannot continue to burn me on this. You're going to have to burn me the opposite way next time. I'm going to have to just not draft Evan Ingram. He becomes the NFL MVP, and I'm fine with that because he is Fred Taylor in my book.
Evan Ingram is what I call the Michael Walker of football, fool's gold. He's been fool's gold ever since I started playing fantasy sports. I've never won a championship with him. I never did anything that much with him in the first place. Had a couple of great games for me one season. That's about it. So,
well, what's dumbfounding about him is that he's got the talent, and when they use him, he's pretty explosive. They just never do it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They never freaking do it. By the way, for people who have missed out on this, not paying attention, Wimbledon did start this morning. So I do watch tennis. I watch the championships. I don't typically watch a lot of the other stuff, but it'll be going on all next couple of weeks. So that'll be something fun to watch in the mornings, like when you're scratching your butt and getting some coffee, watching the armchair quarterbacks. You can turn on the freaking the tennis. It's kind of interesting. I don't know who this girl is. I've never noticed her or seen her play before, but she's wearing knee-high socks. That is a different look, my friend. Knee-high socks in your typical tennis outfit. Because remember, I'm surprised Wimbledon has not gotten cancel culture over this. For people who are not familiar with Wimbledon, they have one rule and one rule only in your attire. Do you know what that is, Doug? And what you can and cannot wear. They have one major rule.
I don't know. Tell me. I don't know.
How is this not getting cancel cultured? You have to wear all white.
Oh, okay.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm waiting for someone. I was waiting for it all weekend long, and I was like, well, you know what? These idiots probably don't know, so they'll have to wait until either A, it dawns on them, they have to look it up, or B, someone like Osaka says she's not going to play because of it. It's going to have to be someone's going to come out and say it. And I'm waiting for see how the old British rule deals with that. Because I know it's got nothing to do with race, but you could see if there's anything dumb, the cancel culture comes after it, and I could see them saying, no, we should be able to wear whatever we want.
I can see it, considering that milk is considered racist. I guess you could say all white uniforms are racist then,
well,
I guess.
Well, especially because we're at the end of Pride Month, so why can't someone wear a rainbow out there? I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for it. Someone's gonna, because what I remember as a kid it affecting was Andre Agassi. This is late 80s, I believe. Maybe it was early 90s. Regardless, he was forced to wear an all-white uniform, and he hated it because this was at the height of his career, and this is back when he actually had hair before he shaved it. And he loved wearing, I mean, Doug, you remember late 80s. He loved wearing the very, very flamboyant, almost like costume, but I guess it's really I don't know. Is it a uniform? I mean, I guess it's just attire.
Attire, yeah.
Because you can't really call it a uniform, because if it's a uniform, your team is wearing it, but you're out there solo. But he was always known for the very flashy stuff that I want to say. It was either Adidas or Nike came out for him, and that was a big, big storyline. The fact that he'd had to be out there with his dopey looking mullet that he had. And because you can always tell when Agassi, even when he was the sex symbol, he was going bald, right? Because he would have spiky hair, but you're like, it's so much of that is missing. Like there's like bits and pieces of spiky hair, but he was not happy with that. And I was like, get over it, dude. It's just, it's their tradition. it's got something to do with the country club that began Wimbledon, where they have to wear all white on certain days or whatever. And so that's how it began years and years and years ago. It's supposed to be a clean look or whatever. But I'm waiting for this to get cancel cultured. So I called it first. Wait, we got 2 weeks. Somebody's got to say something. You guarantee it. Real quick before we put a pin in this, give me 2 tight ends that are low on the board that you say, you know what, I think these guys are highly underranked.
Well, we talked about him already, and I think he should be top 5, but I guess he's got to prove it. But we talked about Logan Webb with the Redskins. I had him at number 8. He's somebody I'm going to pocket.
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas. You know how I am with names, but you know who I meant with the Redskins. And, another one too that everybody picks, but I think this year maybe he might have a better year is Austin Hooper. That's a sleeper. It's just a deep sleeper.
That is a deep sleeper on this calculator thing that I'm on that I don't think is very accurate. He's 23rd on the list because a tight end that's 23rd doesn't even get drafted, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's a deep sleeper. You might want to pocket.
There's another one that I find interesting because he's actually going to have a quarterback. It looks like is Cole Kmet of the Bears. So I know what he was like when he was at Notre Dame, but then again, these guys don't always transfer from college to NFL. And so if he can't do it this year, it shows that he just cannot do it. The other guy that I'm intrigued by that's a little higher up on the list, because we're going to see what his quarterback looks like in year 2 is Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki was absolutely worthless in starting if Tua started. But if Fitzpatrick started, you loved having him, right?
Yep.
We're going to see this year, and the problem is you got to make your decision for the draft, but preseason. So you don't know what it's actually going to look like. But whether or not you'd be willing to bet on Mike Gesicki to get a better look this coming year, especially with the additions they've had at wideout, it should open things up. But will that make him just get ignored because they have so much talent on the wideouts? I don't know. I'll tell you who I'm not drafting because they always tell you to, Green Bay tight end, look out for him. Well, Robert Tonyan's actually had a really good year last year, right? But who the hell knows what is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers?
Yep.
So I'm a little skeptical on drafting any Green Bay Packers this year. It's making me really nervous. And we'll see. Look, my tune can change by the time we hit the actual season or preseason. Once we get to week like 2 or 3 of preseason, you start seeing that Aaron Rodgers is actually suiting up. Things could change quite a bit. All right. Time to turn back time. Get the hell on out of here. Remember, top of the hour, Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays. The catbird seed comes your way as we're going to talk New York and Boston baseball along with Tampa Bay. Here we go. Ready? Turn back time. Always on the wrong page of this thing, and I don't know why I always think it's on one page every day. It's ridiculous. Listen to this stat. Branch Rickey is behind the plate. Remember Branch Rickey?
Yep.
Of course, he's the infamous general manager who signed Jackie Robinson in the color and broke the color barrier. Listen to this stupid stat. This is why he didn't make it as a player and had to go in the front office. Branch Rickey is behind the plate when the Washington Senators steal 13 bases.
Yep.
Although the New York's catcher is terrible, known as the Mahatma, he will become one of the premier administrators in baseball, which we all know that. By the way, I guess there weren't unwritten rules in 1907 because the final score was 16-5 and they were still stealing bases. So these unwritten rules that ESPN keeps complaining about, I'm pretty sure that ESPN invented them. They weren't around in 1907 because if there was an unwritten rule like that in 1907, someone would have got one in the ear, and that would have been the headline of that day. All right,
Yep.
birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, we want dead or alive.
Dead.
All right, let's grab a dead one. Happy somber birthday to no, wait a minute, he's still alive. I can't do it. I put that guy in. We'll go with God, this side is obsessed with cricket players. This really is dumbfounding. How about Charles Urbanus, Dutch baseball player who was from the Netherlands. He was the first Dutch player to play in the major leagues, passed away in 1980. All right, alive. You may have heard of this guy, especially being a Raider fan. John Elway is 61 years young today. Here's another one, and I would have never thought they were a year apart. I felt like that they were a lot older or a lot different in age. Jay Schrader, remember him? LA Raiders?
Yeah, I remember him.
60 today. That seems weird that they would be only a year apart. I feel like Jay Schrader was much later than Elway coming to the league, but I guess he sat on the bench.
He was, always remember, he was on the bench with the Redskins forever.
No, I know that, but it just didn't feel like it was as, because Elway came in the league, what, in 83? That means Schrader had to come in between 83 and 85. And I think of Schrader coming into the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I'm also getting him and Todd Marinovich confused. So that might have something to do with it too. Two crappy quarterbacks that played for the Raiders.
Yeah, I know. Two of the most hated players. Oh, let me tell you, the Oakland Raiders, the offensive line used to take private bets on who would not block for him to get rid of him. There was actually a conspiracy to get rid of him by not blocking for him.
And by the way, Bobby Hurley is 50 years old today. That doesn't seem real. That doesn't seem possible. He's still like 18 to me, and like, hasn't even hit puberty, running around playing for Duke. What is your walk-off for the day, sir?
My walk-off came in this weekend with the Dodgers playing the Cubs. I had to ask, towards the All-Star break, are the Dodgers still the best team in baseball? And are the Cubs for real? And then, especially watching last night's game, I think the Cubs are just hitting a streak. I don't think they're that for real. The Dodgers, I still think, are the best team in baseball, even though they're hurting right now. I think this time, by the end of the year, the Dodgers will be back in form. That was my takeoff coming into the day.
All right, and my walk-off for the day. By the way, it's also 49 years old today, Marvin Jones. People don't remember him. He played high school football in Miami, Florida, college football at Florida State, and there was a New York Jet. And his nickname when he got in the NFL was Shade Tree. And he got that from Brian Cox, who ended up playing with Marvin Jones late in their careers, because he called him Shade Tree, because he called him that because he was referred to as a shade tree mechanic, basically meaning that he just, kind of lumbered around and, showed up on game day. What I remember from Marvin Jones is that they asked him once about some guy getting hit that he hit, and was that the perfect hit? He goes, I've never had the perfect hit yet. This is when he was at Florida State. And they said, well, how do you know when you actually have the perfect hit? Because that's when the Lifeline helicopter has to come onto the field to take them away. He was a hard-hitting son of a gun, man, back when you were allowed to lead with your helmet and all that kind of stuff. My walk-off today is Stanley Cups, man. Cannot wait. Looking forward to it, and we will see you not next Monday, because we're obviously not going to be here because of the 4th of July weekend, but the following Monday we'll really get roaring with the fantasy football. All right, brother.
All right.
And hopefully by then we'll get you an iPad or something. I'm going to find something to get. I'm sure I've got something laying around here that I can give you that good Lord.
We'll take care of it.
I know it's because the screen's cracked, but I'm telling you, from our angle, it looks like you've got lint on the screen. All right, brother.
All right. We'll take care of it.
All right. We'll see you.
See ya.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.